Guys, welcome back to Vinceville Customs. So today we're doing a 3D print review on this Bayonetta sculpt that was sculpted by ES Monster. They had it on their Patreon and I subbed the other month just so I could get this sculpt. And it was 3D printed by John Ruffano. I think that's his last name. I can't see it from here. I met him at a barbecue a few years back and he printed out a Bayonetta life-scale gun replica for me. This was a trade from my friend. I did some work for my friend and he asked John to print this out for me, so I'm slowly working on this. I showed it on my live streams. Whenever I get a chance, I sort of worked on it. So he did a really good job with this print. You can see how big it is. So I contacted him too while he was working on this and stuff, if he would print out this Bayonetta for me, and he did. He did a really great job. It is probably 1/4 scale item. I'm not going to go through too much of the fragile stuff, but I'll kind of go over what we did. Some of this is going to be a little bit hard tweaked. This is for my own personal collection. So this is something that once I kind of get caught up on some projects, I'm going to slowly start working on this. I really can't really do much to it till I pick up a thing of resin. I'll kind of explain why I need resin. But ES Monster did a great job with the sculpt. When I saw it, I loved it because it's not a full-blown perfect Bayonetta from the video game, but it still was a really cool design where I really wanted to get one. And with all this 3D printing now and all these 3D sculpts that are out there with Patreon and all these CG trader sites, there's so much stuff out there that it opens up a whole new world of kit building, customizing, painting for people filling up their collection with characters that they'll never thought would be made. And since I'm a huge Bayonetta fan, I really wanted to get this done. So we'll kind of go over it. I want to be kind of careful with some parts. But the main body was sculpted really good. I like the way ES Monster did this. The only problem is we had a little bit of damage in shipping here, but that's fragile. And that's nothing that I can't fix. I told John, I said, we had a little bit of damage, but I said, don't worry about it. For me, I'll fix it. One of the things, though, that I don't like about the way that it was cut by ES Monster is it's cut at the leg, and sadly I know that's a problem. So you see that when you get cut there and you have this detail of this chain, it's always kind of a pain in the ass. But at the end of the day, it's not that big of a deal. I mean, I'll fix it, I'll make it work. You know, I'll sand this down and stuff and get that in there like that. But I mean, ES Monster did a good job. I mean, it's not, like I said, it's not perfect video game look. It's kind of more sort of stylish and a little bit, I feel like a little bit more animated, which I like, and that's why I really wanted to get it. I gotta be careful of the head though. I gotta put the body this way because I don't want to snap any of those things. The head is sculpted really well. I think John said when he printed the glasses on her, the glasses broke like 3 times, so I gotta be very, very careful with those. But they look great. I really like the way it is sculpted and printed. It's a really good job. He did a good job with you know, printing it out. The head goes in here with the hair, so this is I gotta be very careful with this. So I'm gonna have to do some tweaking, be very careful, and kind of do a magnet and stuff. I'll have to figure this out. I gotta kind of, I think this is supposed to go, not sure where. Yeah, like I said, I really haven't gotten a chance to really work on it. This is kind of like my own side project, but I figure once I get the thing of resin, I could go from there. So these are legs. Really low. I told him I wanted it like at least, I think I said I wanted her about 18 inches tall or so. So he definitely was able to print it out, which really worked out pretty well. Now the body is solid, but I asked him to do the legs not solid. The reason why is because the way she's positioned, I want to fill this up with resin and I want to put a rod in her legs, because even though I'm sure this resin, if it was printed solid, wouldn't bend, I personally want to get a rod in there, and I'll kind of figure that out down the line. But all in all, she looks pretty good. I really like the way the sculpt is. I like the way her position is. It's pretty cool. So it should be a fairly fun paint up and everything. So I'm going to put this back down there so I don't break it. Now, the only one of the problems though is her, these things go underneath her arms. These are her like hair things that go under her arm. I think it's this arm here, I think. Something like this, or yeah, I think it's this way. Yeah, I think it's like this one. So that is a little bit of a problem only because it's very heavy. And he says if he tries to print this out hollow, it might cause more problems. So I'm going to have to definitely rod this up and figure something out. So that's going to be a little bit of the tricky part, is these pieces that go underneath her arms. But I'll figure that out when I get to it. There's a little bit of tweaking that's going to be involved on this to make sure things work, but I'll figure it out. The guns came out really great. The only downside about the guns, which I guess ES Monster didn't do, is there should have been a little bit of chain pieces that come here. Maybe there was, and I told John not to do it. I forgot, because I'll do my own little change with charbs that go underneath there. But the names of the guns aren't on there, and I guess they didn't want the sculpt go that far with it, because each gun, they're named Scarborough, but one gun is called Sage, one is called Rosemary, another one is called, there's 4 guns, 4 different color gems, so I forgot the other ones. So what I'll probably end up doing is I'll probably Dremel out these gems, and I have those color gems I would add to these, so I'll probably do that down the line. One thing too is, I guess I'm going to have to figure out how to do this. It might be sort of like a build it and put it together at the same time. Is they didn't sculpt, they didn't attach the thumbs. So the thumbs are separated. So I guess the way it works is you have to get the gun into the correct hand, which I have to figure out which hands go to which gun. And then I'll probably have to sort of attach the gun and then sort of put the thumb on afterwards and seal it up. I'm not really sure how I'm going to do this. I got to figure that out. I wish they would have done with the one... well, it's a 3D sculpt, so I mean, I guess they can't really go too crazy with it, but I wish they would have designed it in a way where maybe the gun would sit in her hand without having to do that. But whatever. It is what it is. You know what it is? It's a 3D sculpt. It's an SDL. You're not spending a lot of money on the file, and you're not really spending that much on the 3D print compared to if you were going to buy it from a factory that was produced. So you have to kind of, it kind of feels like I'm going backwards in the hobby, which is kind of cool. Like when the hobby first came out, I got into it around 2003, 2005, around that era. A lot of these kits and stuff that was produced, you had to do a lot of prep work. You had to kind of get in there and you had to kind of retweak things. You had to use some putties and you had to rebuild. And then as time went on, a lot of these factories, a lot of these sculpts were being made by factories over in China, like Onage, and they're coming to you like pretty much almost ready out of the box to be painted. You just kind of clean them up and you paint them and they're all magnetized and they're done. But now with the 3D sculpting stuff, people aren't really cutting them like they should be, or they're not designing them correctly. So you have to kind of go take a couple steps back and tweak this stuff. So that's kind of how I feel things are going on. But with this sculpt, her legs are separated like so, and in each foot what they did is they put rocks there, which I didn't really like, so I told him, don't print the rocks. I found a file on CG Trader of a base, and I asked him, would you be able to print this base that would fit her, because I really like this base, and it feels like a Bayonetta base. So I picked this up for, I think the file was only like $7 or something, but I had like a couple points. I think I got it for like $5 or whatever. And he printed it, so what I can do is I can fill this up with resin, and then when I put her legs on here, it's going to be kind of hard to show you on screen without, like I said, I don't want to break the body. We'll kind of show you as best I can in this direction here, looking down. So if we put this leg here, right, and then he measured it pretty well, so I'm happy about that. We put this leg here, so you can see her legs are separated pretty good. So they just fit to the edge of the base really well. So I'll definitely be able to get her feet in here with some rods and secured. It's just that I have to fill it up with resin and make it solid. So it's going to work out pretty well. And then I'm thinking what I'm going to do is maybe for the bottom of the base, maybe add some stuff later. But we'll figure that out. So that's the cool thing about 3D printing and everything that I wanted to like share with you guys. That if you find a file and you like it, but you don't like the element on it, or you don't like that there's an item on the base, or you want to add something here, you don't have to print out all the elements. You can skip some elements, you can add other elements, you can find different bases. So the 3D printing world is kind of changing the game. So anyone who prints out this item, they might print it out with the rocks and have it on their display, but with mine's going to be different. I'll have a nice cool little base that'll work out for it. So it'll be kind of fun and cool to work. So I got to do some tweaking of this. I got to fill this in with resin. I got to fill that in. I have to sort of, you know, get her legs situated with the body, repair that stuff. I have to figure out how to get these pieces on her arms that work. I think I saw somebody did a 3D print of this, and they didn't have the arms situated how ES Monster had the arms. I think they had it different, where it actually laid on the ground versus floating up in the air. I'm not really sure how they did it. I gotta figure that out. I think I'll figure it out. I mean, I might have to, or they might have swapped the arms and they didn't realize. But yeah, definitely, it's going to be a little bit heavy with this kind of floating, just with this piece. So I think what's going to happen is, I think I'm going to have to put like maybe a rod and bend it upwards, you know, and maybe have it come into this arm. Like, you see how it kind of comes into this arm here? Doesn't fit perfect. It's got a, like I said, and then this piece sort of, let's see, I guess it, nope, that's the wrong one. I think it's this one right here. Yeah. So it goes like this. Oh, so maybe it does bend down. I'm not really sure. So maybe, is this the right one? Yeah, so if it does bend down or something, maybe I can have it where maybe it's hitting the base. I don't know. So I'll have to tweak it a bit. I'll figure it out once I get it situated. So all in all, I can add a rod in here and make it work. Let's see the other arm. Like I said, I really didn't get a chance to go over this too much. I'm just so swamped with all my work. But this one goes like this. And then curls backwards. Okay, so maybe it was right. So maybe it does supposed to line up on the base or something. Maybe it will be able to. I'll figure it out. Once I start working on it, we'll see. I think what I'm going to do is, once I get the resin and everything, and I add the legs and I get the legs situated and stuff, I'll go from there and get it on the base and then start tweaking and see what I need to do. Yeah, ES Monster did a great job. You can see a lot of the detail, you know, back there. Booty should have been maybe cut in a little bit more, but I think when you add the legs to her, it's got a really nice, it's got a really good leg position. So that was pretty good. Guns are good. Everything came out well. There's not like a lot of damages or anything. It's just a matter of seeing how much I can tweak this and repair it and get it on. It does. They also did do this, which is right. This is the moon symbol for her chest, and that goes on there. Oh, I think it goes this way. Yeah, so that's correct. So that's easy to paint that up and be able to glue that in at the end. Yeah, like I said, I want to show you more of this stuff, but it's kind of fragile, so I got to be kind of careful. But yeah, that is the Bayonetta from ES Monster. John did a great job printing it out. I'm really excited to work on it. It's basically, I don't have a box for it since it's a 3D print, so I'm going to pretty much leave it on the shelf. And then what I'm going to do is, once I start kind of getting some supplies in, I can start working on it. So this is like the hair piece that goes up here, like that. So that's kind of the hair piece. So you can see a lot of the supports that are on these 3D prints. So that's kind of a lot of stuff that you have to start thinking about when you do your 3D prints, is taking out all these support stuff. So it's got some work, you know, to kind of clean some stuff up. I think these are some more hair pieces. I forget where these go. I think they're the hair pieces. I think they're the hair pieces. I have to go and look at it again, or I might go on the arms. Not really. I don't remember, unless these are the same things, but these broke. No, they go somewhere. I'll figure it out. I think it's the arms. But yeah, so I'm just kind of a little overwhelmed, just kind of thinking about this while I'm looking at it, what I need to do. But yeah, it should be a fun paint up. and we'll see how I could do. I think I'm just doing a review now, but I got a lot of work to do on this, so this might not get done until maybe in 2025, because I'm just so backed up with all personal stuff. But I can slowly start working on it, filling it in once I get supplies and go from there. I think what I want to try to do is, when I'm ready to start working on her, painting her, I'm hoping I can have the gun done too, this replica gun, and maybe I can sort of have them done at the same time. I am doing sort of like a work in progress video on this as well. So basically by the time these are done, this is done, everything should sort of like have the videos and everything should be set up. So I should have these added into my collection hopefully next year. So there you go. That is the Bayonetta from ES Monster, printed by John. I will leave John's YouTube channel in the description. He wants to start building up the channel a little bit more with a lot of his 3D stuff. So if you guys are looking for a 3D printer, you want to see what he's doing, head on over to him. I guess he says he's available for 3D printing and stuff. So he does a really good job. And just more and more people out there are 3D printing. So there's a lot of options. So thanks for watching. And we'll be back with some more videos.